Hey guys, welcome back to my channel Rewind. That is your girl Miss K. If this is your first time coming across my channel, welcome. Please be sure to subscribe if you like the vibe and hit the notification bell so you know when I upload more videos like this one and when I go live at midnight. Well, it's not midnight, it's 12:32 right now, guys. I got pushed back because motherly duties. They call 24/7. So today we are finishing and closing the chapter of The Watcher. Yes, it's probably not trending anymore. It doesn't matter. Like I tell you guys all the time, I continue on even if I, didn't catch up or I didn't do it in a timely manner for whatever reason. I like to still post whatever I need to post so that when people come to my channel, they can get it all on the playlist. Okay, now without further ado, let's get into this. The Watcher. We're going to start with episode 4 because we're recapping episodes 4 through 7. All right, I do still owe you guys episode number 2, which is kind of backwards. But like I said, it's all about the playlist. All right, guys, so here we go. Now we get to this scene where Dean and Nora are in this office at Darren and Dunn Realty. Okay, and Dean is pretty upset because he's learned about the murders that may or may not have happened in the house, and he's saying to Darren, like, why didn't you tell me about this? So he threatens to sue Darren for not disclosing that a family was murdered in the house. But Darren was like, I didn't know anything about this. And if you want to sue me, go ahead, have fun, because I know the law, and I play by the rules. So go ahead and do what you will with that. So Karen's main concern is that they're going to list, so are you going to list the house? Does that mean you're going to list the house? All she cares about is getting that freaking house, guys. Okay. So while Dean continues to obsess over the John Graff situation, Theodora tells him and Nora that she found out that Dakota's screen name for his gaming is The Watcher. So, now she's kind of pointing the finger, and she done did something that she wasn't supposed to do. Okay, she had somebody go up and go next to his house and kind of whatever they did, some type of technology that they were able to connect to his server. Hey, Samara. They were able to connect to Dakota's server, and so now Theodora is trying to run with this whole thing about Dakota being the Watcher. Okay, so now. Now that they think he's the Watcher, Dean is saying, listen, I also think that they're dating, right? So he suspects this further because he also sees the daughter. She's locking the door. She's acting all suspicious and stuff like that, right? So now he tells Nora that he doesn't want to do this, but we need to go look through her phone. Like, do you have her codes or whatever? So, of course, Nora gives him the code, and they come up with a plan to look through Ellie's phone, and they find some inappropriate pictures. Okay. And then this leaves Ellie to be grounded. So they did confront her and everything. It was just a whole big yelling thing. Oh, I hate you, Dad. Screw you, this and that. Just very rude, talking to her father any way she wants to and things of that nature. Of course, this is what it is, guys, So now Dean, he confronts Dakota. He's like, I know what you've been up to and all this stuff, grabbing him. And, Ellie, she looks outside. So she calls the cops. Oh, my father is attacking someone on our front lawn. So the cops come, guys. But of course, Pearl shows up. And this lady, honestly, she gets on my nerves. But at the same time, I actually appreciated the fact that she was there because I was kind of afraid for Dakota, knowing he was the only Black soul there. So I was afraid for him at this time, all these white people gathered around him. And, but Pearl, you see that finger like, I'm not going anywhere. You better not put your hands on that child. She was so annoyed. Like, I really did not like Pearl. I'm not going to lie. Okay. But in this scene, I thought this was a good thing. Okay. But the cops still, listen, the cops were actually very nice and Dean wanted him to be arrested, like, arrest him, look at these pictures that he did with my daughter, this and that. And so you see that Dakota, he did feel like, you can tell he was like, oh my gosh, like this is so embarrassing, you know what I'm saying? But the one thing that he was more upset about was the fact that they were accusing him of being the Watcher. Now he was like, that's just a coincidence, you know, that's just a coincidence that my name is the Watcher. So he said, I'll do anything. I'll go down to the station. I'll make a statement. I'll do whatever I have to do. Like, he's willing to cooperate all the way. So the father is saying, like, something needs to be done. He's 19. My daughter's 16. So the cop says, listen, 16 is the age of consent in New Jersey. Sorry, there's no crime being committed here. Okay. Then as Dakota is leaving, he asked Dakota if he needed help. Okay, like that was like, really? You need any help with that? Like, to help him get the ladder and everything back into the van. I was like, oh my gosh, this is totally weird. All right, but listen, there are good cops out there, okay? Yes, Samara, I did feel bad for him. Like, I mean, it's terrible that there's someone out there that they're calling themselves the Watcher, right? And Dakota just so happens to have his screen name as the Watcher. That's really crazy, though. You know what I'm saying? It's just way too much of a coincidence at a time like this in their lives. So I don't know, guys, but hey, Khadija. I miss you, girl. I was just thinking about you the other day. Like, I haven't seen you in so long in the chat, girl. So good to have you back, of course. So he leaves, right? And now Dakota goes home and he is like really sad. Like, Mom, they accused me of something that I didn't do. So of course the mom says, well, like, you know, did you do it? And he says, no, I didn't do it. So now they have to go down to the station and all this stuff. And they are, you know, they take a DNA test and everything. And then, you know, he even has a lawyer and all of that. Like, it really got real, guys. Okay. It got freaking real up in there, like with this whole situation. All right. So let me see what else is gonna say. Khadija said she was sick. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. You know, I was going through it too, girl. Yeah. back and forth, like it was crazy. And then the other day, my daughter, she got like strep throat or something, and I started to feel weird in my throat. I was like, we're not doing this. I was vitamin C every night before I went to bed. I was gargling with the what's that? The apple cider vinegar. That's nasty, but child, it was helping me out. All right, anyway. So I hope you feel better too. Yes, Samara says she hope you feel better, and I hope you feel better as well, hon. All right, so you know they deal with all of that, right? So I'm trying to see what this is. Okay, so here this is. So after all of this happens, right? Because like I said, Dakota is upset about the situation, but this chick, his daughter, she goes and posts this video saying, oh, I'm in an interracial relationship and my dad is racist and all this stuff. So it's going around, guys. I don't know how it sounds like it went viral. I don't know how the heck, but it got to, you know, just around, it got to Karen. I think it got to his job. Like it was a hot mess. And he's like, do you know what you have done? You could have ruined me. You ruined this family, this and that and the third. And it was just like, wow, she's just so out of hand, you know? Yes. Hi, Tina. Yeah, his daughter was so wrong, so out of hand. Like, and it's like she doesn't care. And it's like, are you kidding me, little girl? Y'all live in this very huge, expensive house with all of these renovations they're doing. Like, you don't even know the half of the story, which we will get into because we haven't found out a lot that Dean had to do in order to keep all this stuff going on. And because she feels some type of way acting like a little brat, you know, she thinks she could go ahead and do this. Like it was crazy to me. So the father, you know, he tells her that you don't, like the mom, both of them were saying like, you don't care, like this could really, you know, mess up your dad's career or whatever. It's like, I don't care or whatever, this and that. So the father was like, you know what? So he takes the phone and he's banging it. And she's like, Dad, stop. He's crazy. You're crazy. And he said, you ruined this family. You ruined our lives. You ruined all of us or whatever, right? And so the mom sends Ellie upstairs. And then she says to Dean, "Are you effing crazy?" or something like that. And I said, "Are you kidding me? What the heck do you mean? Is he crazy?" This can really hurt you guys. And your daughter is out of hand. So you expect him not to react or do anything? You're lucky he didn't go upside her head, which he probably should have. If you were doing that since she was a kid, she probably wouldn't be like this. Listen, don't get me wrong, guys. I'm not talking about abuse your kid, because I know we got some anti-poppers out there. I'm not talking about that. All right. There are different ways to handle your child, discipline your child, and stuff like that. And clearly she ain't been really getting it like that. Her with the whole like grounding her and all of that, for finding the inappropriate pictures, she still cursed them out and went upstairs and nothing happened. Okay. And she still has access to a phone. So if she's supposed to be living in her room, why the heck does she have her phone? Why was she using the house phone? Like all of that. So she's not getting no real punishment or anything, which is the reason why she's still going off like that. And then look at her, how shocked she is. She's so shocked, guys. Let me tell you something. I have this theory, right? And don't hate me if you ever come across this and you are a white person. Please, I am not racist. It's not all white people, okay? There are many white people who discipline their children, but the ones that let their kid rule them and possibly even smack them around or curse them out and stuff, when they get into the world, like have you guys ever noticed the shock on a white person when somebody tells them off or probably smacks the taste out of their mouth? They are so freaking shocked. Like oh my gosh, I can't believe you hit me. Oh my gosh. Oh, they cannot believe it. You know why? Because it never happened to them. Their parents, this is my theory, and I believe it's the true one. Their parents taught them that they can talk like that to anybody. I don't get smacked at home, so why would somebody smack me out from outside? You got to teach your kids how to live in the outside world too. Everything that may go in the house don't go outside. So teach your kids that, right? Because Ellie, she was surprised about her dad acting crazy. All right, because whatever. Anyway, let's move on. Khadijah says she not paying no bills, but don't care about ruining the family. Exactly. Don't care about ruining the family. And that's right. They get a reality check. They're shocked. Knock their daggone. They don't know what the heck hit them. A reality, honey. Reality done struck you, baby. So now to add insult to injury, guys, you got Dakota who's pissed off. So you got your daughter trying to, exact vengeance on you. And then you got Dakota. He's pissed off. You did this to me. So we don't know yet. So I'm kind of jumping the gun a little bit. We don't know yet. But Dakota has sent out a video of a woman in bed with Dean. And I mean, if you just look at it, it looks like it's set up, written all over it. Like Dean is knocked out. He's not aware that anybody is in the house with him. He's knocked out. First of all, the woman came around all creepy, like, you know what I'm saying? Like looking at him and then slowly like standing over him and then slowly getting in the bed. Like you can tell this was some creepy crap. It was definitely creepy. So he's like, I don't know what the heck this is. I don't even know who that woman is, how she got my house. But then he says, oh my gosh, that's, I forgot what her name was, but it was John Graff's daughter. And he was like, that's such and such Graff. And the Dakota sent this to Nora and he sent it to his boss. So Dakota is messed up too, because at the end of the day, like if you like Ellie a lot, why would you send it to the boss of her father? So that if they lose the house, then also you're probably going to lose your girl because they're going to have to move somewhere or whatever. Like you're just creating a whole bunch of problems for your girl at the end of the day, so it was really stupid. But this is what happens when children get involved in stuff. They think I'm just mad, so I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And it winds up being something that it turns out to be way worse than they thought it was going to be. Okay. Just because you mad. The video was glitching and he never touched a girl. Exactly. And he's just knocked out. Like he's oblivious. He doesn't know what the heck. And so he's looking at the screen like, what the heck? What's going on here? So when he comes out of the job, Dakota confronts him and lets him know right away, like, yeah, that's what I did. You know what I'm saying? At first I had the video in there. I put a camera in your room because he had a camera in their room without them knowing. I put a camera in your room because I thought you were the watcher and I was going to try to, what did he say? Cancel him out or scratch him off the list or something like that. But then he saw that on the video. So it's not like he set the girl up to like go in there or nothing. He found that on the video. So then that's when he decides that he wants to, send it all over the place. And he says, because what you did to me, you accusing me like that, can't you see how much trouble that could have caused me? Can't you see how much of a problem that is for me than it would have been for you? Like basically saying, hello, color fact up in here. It's very serious. So, Dean says, yes, I do understand, but are you sure that you had nothing to do with this girl? Like, you don't know her, you didn't set her up or not, you know what I'm saying? And Dakota was like, no. So now Dakota is very confused because he's thinking that he really got him, like, yeah, you're done, you're over, everything's, but now he's kind of like, wow, what's going on here, right? So Nora also, we know that she was devastated about the whole situation because when the episode started, she was crying and all that, and like, I know what you did, Dean. I know what you did, because she had like the little flash drive in her hand and stuff like that. So it was pretty messed up. Of course, she was devastated, and she wound up kicking him out, even though he denied it. But what can you do? It's a video right there. But at the same time, like we said, it was a weird video. Like, it just did not look right. So anyway, at the end of the episode, Dean is staking outside his own house. All right. So I think he was at a hotel at first. He's sleeping at a hotel, but he decides to go and stake out his house. And as he's doing this, I guess he's still trying to protect his family, which I respect that. As he's doing it, he sees a cab pull up in front of Mitch and Mo's house. And who gets out of the taxi, guys? Mitch and Mo, who are supposed to be dead, and they're carrying luggage and all of this stuff. And so he's looking like, what the heck is going on? He looks over to the house, and then we have Mo getting ready to draw her curtains. And she just looks at him with a smile. And I'm like, what in the world is going on? This is just too freaking crazy for me. Okay. So now we're going to move on. First of all, I forgot to tell you guys that episode number 4 was called Someone to Watch Over Me. All right. Now we're going to go on to episode number 5, and that's called Occam's Razor or Occam's Razor. I don't know. I think she said Occam. I don't really care. But anyway, so Nora, now that the situation has happened, she is doing a lot of digging. She's going through the logs on the cell phone, to see what's going on, and looking at calls and all of this. She comes across a call from the night that she received this mysterious phone call while she was at the hotel. So now she goes and she wants to talk to Theodora. And she tells Theodora that, look, I found this call from 1:04 in the morning or whatever time she said, and it's coming from the landline of our house. And she's like, I think Dean is the watcher, because remember that episode when they did star 69 the call back, it rang the house phone. So it was like really weird, like, oh snap, the call came from inside the house. That is so, whenever to even say that line, the call is coming from inside the house. That is so scary. If y'all know probably what movie I'm talking about, or I think it was called When a Stranger Calls or something like that. Like somebody's prank calling this girl who's babysitting the kids, and the operator tries to trace the call and calls her back and tells her the call is coming from inside the house. That is some creepy freaking crap. Okay. Anyway, so she's like, I think Dean is the watcher. I think he got himself into too much, and he couldn't handle it. So now he was trying to scare me so that I can try to sell the house. All right. So, that's a little theory. And, I can't wait to talk about how once they get a hold of something, and I'm talking about Dean and Nora. It's like once they get a hold of something, they run with it as if it's proof. The way they be going hard about, like, when they think they have evidence or they think they're on to something, oh my gosh, they go hard. It's so annoying. So now she has Theodora on here. Don't y'all listen? I kind of like that Theodora always wears gloves, and those are cute. Okay, anyway, so Theodora, she's on it now. Okay, even though she likes, and she does make this clear, I like Dean a lot. Okay, but she's really dedicated to this case now. Okay, so she said she went to a handwriting analyst, and after he did the analysis, it proved that Dean is writing the letters, because it was a match. Like, there was a certain way, I think, that he writes his K's or something like that, and it was proof. So this is not good. Okay, so then in this same scene, Nora finds out that Dean borrowed $150,000 extra from some shady people. And Theodora also tells Nora that Dean didn't make partner, because Theodora's like, oh, well, I mean, not Theodora. Nora's like, oh, well, like, of course she's upset upon hearing these things, but she's also saying, okay, but this should all go away once he makes partner. And remember, he did not make partner, and he the problem with Dean, of course, he almost lost it, right? But the problem with Dean is that he keeps on hiding these things from his wife, and that is not good. All right, so it's not good for a marriage, period. All right, but keeping the lie alive, and then also borrowing money from some shady folks. Okay, probably loan sharks and stuff like that. So they didn't. The only thing I don't like about that one is that they didn't go further with that. Like, I thought that it would have probably been a little interesting if they would have went further with that, but they ain't have time. It's only 7 episodes. They don't have time to be putting somebody in there, that's gonna, chase them down for no money. And they probably shouldn't have added that in there anyway, because I did kind of look into the true story versus this story, and they took a lot of liberties. Okay, so now we also have Dean, who is confronting Andrew, because he was sitting at the I don't know if he was sitting in the hotel. Sitting in the hotel room, and he sees a commercial, and Andrew is on the commercial. So he's like, what? So he finds Andrew. He's like, you lied to me, this and that. He was like, what are you talking about? And he said, you're an actor? And Dean was like, yes. I mean, Andrew, yes, I'm an actor. You never asked me. And he's like, did you even live in that house and all this stuff? And he's like, yes, I did. You crazy. Don't touch me, whatever, So he basically let him know that everything that he told him was true. Andrew says, everything I told you was true. All right. So there you go with that. And that went nowhere. They just keep bumping into wall after wall after wall. It was just a roller coaster ride, guys. I can't wait to tell you guys how I feel after we get to the very end of episode 1. I can't wait to tell you how I felt. All right. So Tina says they should not keep telling Nora to leave Dean when nobody has the whole truth. Exactly. It was annoying. And especially that daggone Karen. Oh my gosh. Okay. So meanwhile, Nora, she goes to the gallery, and she finds out that all her pieces are pretty much sold. And this is great news that the woman tells her, I think she's like the owner of the gallery, and she tells her that, I heard about your problems with Dean and all that, but now that whatever's going on, I can really have you back in here, like bringing more pieces and stuff like that. And the good news is that you will be able to support your family, so that basically if her and Dean get a divorce, she doesn't have to worry about where the money is going to come from. So this is good news for Nora. All right. Now, Nora also meets up with Pearl and Mo. Sorry, guys. All right. So, she meets up with Mo and Pearl, and she finds out what happened with Mo and Mitch, right? The whole that situation when it was supposed to be I don't even want to say a murder-esque, right? So Maureen tells the ladies, or tells Nora, that her son didn't want to deal with the cancer thing or something like that because we know Maureen, she has cancer. But here's the thing. He goes and finds two elderly people with Mitch and Mo's body types, brings them back to the house because they went on vacation. Brings the people back to the house and kills them in the house. So those were the two gunshots that Dean heard in the middle of the night while his family was at the hotel. So he kills them so that he could collect the insurance money. I'm like, what is going on? So then Mo says, and then when I heard about the letters that you were getting, I thought it was my Christopher. So then you get Pearl saying, oh, I thought it was, what's her brother's name again? I don't know, forgot Jasper. I thought it was Jasper. So now she goes into this whole story because Jasper denies it, of course. She goes into this whole story that she remembers getting a letter herself. But the letter was called an ode to a house, and it was more flattering. Like it was complimenting the house, okay? So Nora goes and tells her family about this situation. And the daughter winds up looking it up. Like she looks up the whole thing and she found it on social media. And she basically found out that there was a teacher who he kind of had a bunch of students do that. But we're going to get to that in a minute because I'm not even there yet. I'm really skipping around. So here's where we are. Dakota was bothered by this whole situation, okay? Because he's like, I didn't believe you at first, but all the stuff you said is starting to, it didn't really make sense how this girl got in the house, whatever. So now Dakota says that after going through every second and every angle of the footage, there's nothing showing how the girl got in the house. She just shows up in his bedroom. So now they go and explain this to Nora. And Nora's like, so what, do we have a ghost or something like that? He's like, no, that's too far out. I don't think you have a ghost. But what I do think is that the girl is either in your house all the time and she's hiding out or whatever, or there's another way into this house. And the crazy thing about that is that is so on point to the whole tunnel thing, right? Like we didn't even know about the whole tunnel situation coming up. Like I'm going ahead again, but it's like to a T for him to know that, like this, like you get Jasper coming in the house when he wanted to, and now you just get this strange chick with pigtails. And that's another thing. The boss was looking at it like, yo, this is really bad for you, Dean, because she is a young girl. So that was another problem. All right. Hey, pretty girl. Missed you, honey. So so that's that. So now after this situation, after this, Nora says, can you excuse us to Dakota? And she's like, I need to ask you this. All right, tell me the truth. So did you sleep with that girl? He said, no, I did not. Okay, fine. Did you write the letters? And now he says, yes, I wrote one of them. So he confessed to that. And she's like, oh my gosh, Dean. Oh my gosh. So then now she starts asking all the questions about the extra money borrowed and all this and him not making partner and all of this stuff. So now it's, things are hitting the fan. And he's like, just please tell me you're not going to divorce me. She says, I'm not going to tell you that I'm not going to divorce you. And I'm not telling you that I am going to divorce you. Let's just, deal with this stuff for now. All right. So she says, we're going to go down to see Detective Chamberlain because he should have had those DNA results by now, and he has not called me, okay? I think he's sitting on them for some reason, and I'm going to let him know that if he doesn't, present them, I'm going to sue. She said I'm going to report him or sue him for something. I forgot everything. They love throwing around the whole suing thing, So let me hear what Tina's saying. So those two creepy ladies heard the noises in that house, but they were pretending like it was nothing, stating, I hope it's a man because she still had feminine needs. I would not ever visit them again. Right. They're just creepy. And they were all laughing and stuff like, I'm telling you, it's the worst. It's the worst. Seeing them type of women laughing and everything, it's just so scary. I'm sorry. Even on Atlanta, when who was it? And he was in what is his name? Darius was in that little like place wherever he went for the dispensary something. I think I might saying it wrong now, but anyway, the ladies were in there laughing like I'm like, no, this looks too scary. Get out. Hurry up. I'm sorry. All right. So anyway, they go to Detective Chamberlain. He's like, oh yeah, they're right here. Oh wait, they were here. They got here a few days ago, this and that. Detective Chamberlain, at the end of the day, guys, and I said this already, he's just lazy. He doesn't like to do any work. This is the reason why he was sitting on these results and no other reason. He was just lazy. Oh, I was waiting for you guys to call me. You know that they're having an issue with receiving letters. Why wouldn't you want to get to the bottom of the situation? You know what I'm saying? So anyway, he tells them that according to the DNA sample, like it doesn't reveal anybody in their database, but what it does show is that it's a woman because there were no Y chromosome. No Y chromosomes on there. Okay, so anyway, so what's her name? She is not buying that though, Nora and Dean kind of too. So they're just playing detective this whole time, not really buying the whole thing that the man is that it's a woman, because Dean is saying, if somebody was going the extra mile and through all this trouble to write these letters, don't you think they would also be careful to the point where maybe they'll have a woman lick the envelope? You know what I'm saying? Like a little girlfriend or something like that, just to cover their tracks and all that. So now she says to Dean, wait a minute though, you were writing the letters. So now we have to figure out what is somebody's motive for writing the letters. So why did you write the letters, right? Because you wanted us to get out of the house. So somebody that's writing the letters is someone that wants us to get out the house and they want to get in the house. So the one person that pops up in her mind is Karen. So they go down to the country club and they see Karen there, but they was not expecting to see Detective Chamberlain, which, I was already saying it, guys. Y'all already saw it before me, but before I knew they had something going on, I just knew it because this certain things that was coming out of his mouth was coming out of her mouth and all of the stuff, digging deep and all that kind of stuff. So when they see them here together, they're bringing all of that up. You knew this, you knew about that, and why did you something with the renovations and the man cave and all this involved? And they were the way they were talking to them was as if they had the evidence just on a silver platter, and it was like, you can't prove this, guys. You're doing too much. You cannot prove it. You can't go to somebody and try to basically accuse them and there's nothing at all to prove it. Like, you can't do that. If you have something, a lead, you got to just stay with it for now until something else comes up. Like, they were just doing the most. So Detective Chamberlain gets on and he's like, listen, I need a squad car down here and all of this. So it was just a hot mess. It's like, y'all need to go. So yeah, Samara, they were talking way too much. So like I was saying, the daughter, she finds this whole ode to a house thing. There's a whole group dedicated to it. All right. And so we find out that the mom, not the mom, it's like this group on social media where the people have to write these love letters to a house that they like, in their area in Westfield or whatever, right? And so the mom, Nora, she says that she recognized the creator of the group because he showed up at the open house. Now, before they can continue this conversation, the contractor comes out of nowhere and he's like, hey, you guys got to come see this. So now they go down to the basement and he discovered a freaking tunnel, guys. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And the last thing I'm trying to do, okay, in a house, well, it ain't brand new, but us moving in, it's brand new to us. It's an old house, right? But a house that I just moved in and didn't know about the tunnel, I'm not trying to go into that tunnel. And guys, this tunnel ran so far and so deep. I was like, y'all are bugging out. Like, they were just going and going and going and going. Then all of a sudden they see somebody in there and Dean's like, hey. I'm like, yo, you need to pump your brakes, guy. Like, seriously. And what if, there was turns in the tunnel and all, like, what if you don't find your way back? Like, I was just like, no, this is not happening. A cement wall is being built immediately, and not just in the entryway from my house. we're going to go a little bit into the tunnel and build a nice cement wall right in one spot right here. So whenever somebody trying to come through, bam, they're going to run into a cement wall. And they can't even get to the part that enters my house because that's going to be cemented up as well. I'm sorry. It wasn't going to happen. All right. That's how the episode ended. So now we're going to go into episode number 6, and it's called The Gloaming. So in this episode, guys, we pick up where we left off, right? And as they turn one of the corners because they're trying to chase after the person that they saw, it's a guy, they see this. There's a cot down here. Clearly somebody is living down here, guys, in the tunnel, in their basement, man. This is too much. This is creepy. It's crazy. It's uncomfortable. I mean, I don't see how anybody finding out this stuff is going on. Like, I don't see how they could continue to live in that house, right? So of course, who do they go to? I'm skipping. So that we see a knock on the door, and Pearl opens the door, and we have John Graff. We know him as John Graff, and he's like, they're on to us. So now you see that she's in cahoots with him and all of this crap, and it's just like, it's annoying. So now they go to Detective Chamberlain, and he's like, oh, let me guess. And so because somebody's in your what is it, your basement, there's a tunnel, I'm supposed to have something to do with that too, right? So basically, long story short, guys, he says, I'm going to do absolutely nothing for you. And I was like, what? Nora's like, what? That's your duty and all this stuff. And he was like, no, after you accuse me of all that stuff, I'm not doing anything for you. You guys get the out of my office, right? And also the thing that made them kind of like fall back was the fact that Detective Chamberlain brought up that he has somebody told him that Dean may have wrote one of those letters. And they were both sitting there like, no, he didn't. No, I did. Just lying. But go ahead, Nora, back your man up, girl. Nobody else needs to know that. Y'all know it. Nobody else needs to know. Okay. So anyway, they leave out there. He handed them their behinds, okay, and told them that if they go to the FBI, he has friends there, all of this stuff. Like, you guys are on your own. So what can they do? So they do dig, and they're doing, whatever they can do. And they have their girl, Theodora, and she looks into Roger, who is the creator of that group with the ode to a house, and she finds out that he's just somebody that, as he grew up, he didn't have a lot of money, but he was always obsessed with really big and nice houses. He made something of himself and things like that. And I think there was a house that he really wanted and he didn't get, and pretty much took it hard. They said he took it worse than when his mother died and something crazy like that, because Theodora went to go talk to his ex-wife, and she's like, figured she's a bitter lady because he left her for one of his students. So of course she was ready to spill all the tea and stuff like that. So he tells his students to write letters to houses in, around or whatever. And this is how this whole ode to a house becomes a thing. And people seem like they liked getting the letters, okay? But listen, this thing didn't really go anywhere. Once again, Nora and Dean, they think they have enough. They think they have enough to go and confront this man, okay? Because they speak to another lady that I guess she says she knew for sure. Oh, I know, Roger. The letters started to get, first they were nice, then they started to take an ugly turn and all this stuff, and I knew it was him and all this blah blah blah. So they think, all right, let's go corner him. I don't know how they knew he went to the supermarket, but they found him there instead of going to his house because they didn't want him to slam the door in their faces. So they found him at the supermarket, start going on and on and on, even to the point where Dean was like, yeah, you were in our basement and all this. I'm like, what? How? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You didn't see the man's face. How are you sitting there accusing him, saying that he was in your basement? Like, it's just too much. And like I said, if they get a freaking bone or anything, they just go off. Like, they just have the proof. And I'm like, you guys are so dumb. Why are you going about it like this? So the lady, his wife is like, what, can you guys just leave us alone? And Dean is like, how about you guys leave us alone and whatever. So, this situation goes nowhere. And Roger is saying, listen, I was at that open house because my friend who grew up in that house, he passed away, and I just wanted to go in the house, whatever. So anyway, so it's just like, yo, yeah, always seem to be barking up the wrong tree. Or was he? So now you done pissed him off. And he's like, now I'm watching it. You want to accuse me of watching your house? Yeah, now I'm watching it. I'm going to be standing here for hours and hours, whatever. Your house loves me. It wishes I was there instead of you and all that. I'm the watcher. You just made a big, powerful enemy. All of this stupidness. Like, now you're bored, guy. You're bored. Stop. So anyway, and my wife, she couldn't finish her wine that night because now she's thinking this and thinking that. I'm like, you guys are so dramatic. Shut up. So anyway, guys, let's move on. So we get to this meeting here where we have Jasper, John Graff, and Pearl, and they're going over all the stuff about homes. And I really hate them because they're too invested in what other people in, like, I guess their neighborhood or community, what they do with their homes. Like, oh, they're putting certain windows in a Victorian home. And then Jasper was just talking so fluently. I thought that he was kind of like, well, it said that he was like a selective mute or something like that. I forgot the term, but he kind of just, I guess, shut down at a time when it was like post-traumatic stress disorder or something like that. Like, he, for whatever reason, he decided to stop talking for a little while over some trauma or whatever, right? So now he's over here talking about, yeah, I smashed all the windows. I went and I did this and I did that. I'm like, what the heck? So Jasper is not really all that good either. We're over here thinking he's probably one of the innocent ones. No, he does the dirty work for Pearl, going and smashing people's windows. And then for some reason, it's almost like they're getting these notifications of when people are coming through and design, like a designer from out of town is coming in to do something with these counters and this and that. Oh my gosh, they're putting marble counters on this and that. And I don't even know if they said marble. I'm just saying something. They just have to do with everything that somebody's talking about. They don't want nobody changing anything. Like, it just bothers me so much because even though this is like fiction, there's really people out there like that. So what does that have to do with you? Why are you so obsessed about how somebody's making changes in their own home? What is wrong? Get a life, honey. This is what happens when folks don't have somebody to cuddle at night, or just every now and then, honey. They just be so bored. Child, no shade to the ones that could be single, but goodness. Anyway, so during this time, whatchamacallit knocks on the door. And what's his name? Dean. He knocks on the door and they have John Graff hide. So, but I don't even, to be honest, guys, I was trying to fly through this thing. I don't remember what the heck he wanted, but it's an investigation. He's trying to do his own investigation at this point. So what are you going to do? He also has this very, very bad dream of somebody coming in the house and he had a gun to his son's head. It was a bad dream to the point where he woke up and he was drinking like whiskey or some type of hard liquor. And Nora was like, Dean, we cannot do this anymore. Like, for the sake of our kids and for the sake of ourselves, we need to sell this house and move on with our lives. Okay. Like, we're losing ourselves. We gotta go. So he kind of starts crying and he's like, I agree. Right. So now, we also have, what am I doing? I think I'm, so we have him who's, Dakota. He done made it to dinner, guys. Okay. I'm like, okay, that is so cute. He done made it to dinner and, he's being accepted by the dad. And I mean, listen, what is her name? Nora. She wasn't really feeling the fact that, they were dating either because he's 19. But now I guess they found out that it's legal. Listen, let me tell you something. I don't got nothing against their relationship, but I'm saying that if I feel like 19 is too old for my daughter, I don't give a daggone if it's legal in your state. For me, it's still too daggone old. All right. And it's really not, though. 16 and 19 is not. I'm just saying they were offended by that. Like, that was their issue. Like, you need to arrest him. He's 19, she's 16. Okay. So if that's how you feel, because yeah, they was from New York, it's too old. So it should still be the same mindset. But Dakota is a nice kid, so I guess they said, hey, fine, we good. All right. And plus Dakota has also been very helpful. So, but I just wanted to put that out there, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, if at the same time, like, if that's you feel somebody's too old for your child, come on now. Maybe you're too old. Okay. So all right, guys. So yeah, I'm trying to make sure that I have everything with the notes, matching with the notes. Okay, so we get an offer on the house, and the offer it came in at 3.5 million cash. Like, yo, you have to be filthy rich to come to buy a house with cash. 3.5 million cash. Like, this is great. So they have an offer on the house. Oh yeah, at the dinner table, they also let the kids know that they're moving, and the kids like, what? Oh, and then they're like, oh, I thought you didn't like it here. Who said that? Whatever, kids. Anyway, so then we get a call. Nora gets a call and finds out that the person that made the offer pulled the offer, and this is why, because there was an article. Sorry, guys, I'm yawning. There is an article about the house, and it says house from hell. So every little thing that Nora and Karen have spoke about was basically in this whole article. So she knows exactly who did it, and she goes to Karen and she's like, you did this? And Karen's like, yeah, duh, this is not a surprise, especially since I told you I was gonna do it. She sure did too. Anyway, so she's like, why are you doing this when you know that we're trying to leave the house? Like, well, it doesn't make any sense now. She said, because you guys don't deserve to make a profit off that house. You deserve to lose your shirts, right? So, they say a bunch of screw yous, and then she walks out, and that's that. So now let's get to episode 7. Let me just make sure in my notes that I did not forget anything. Okay. Yeah, so what happens is, after she says all that, regardless to the fact that they did not sell the house yet, it's still on the market, right? They still have it listed, but they still move. So they move back to New York. So it's just like, dang, yo. And this is really bad. Like, sorry, guys. So for Dean, this is a lot for him because he doesn't want his family to live in the city. Like, he thought that he was really doing something as a husband and a father, taking their kids away from New York to be somewhere safer and everything, because this was his whole thing anyway, from the jump. So anyway, we get to episode number 7, and it's called Haunting. So while Miss Lady over here is thriving, like her artwork and everything is going well, we still have Dean going crazy, okay? Like, he is losing his mind, feeling like a failure because of the house, okay? He still wants to figure out who the watcher is. As you can see by the picture in the back, he has his own little, I forgot what they call this, but, with all the little pictures and everything that the detectives use and stuff like that, he's got his own little board up there trying to figure things out, like how he had when they were with Theodora. And so, he just feels like he failed because I wanted to take my family out of this crazy city, because he also tells his wife a story about somebody that randomly got pushed, in the subway station. Like, he got pushed on the tracks and got ran over and stuff like that. So he's like, you see, the city is crazy, and I just wanted to get my kids out of here. And, somebody screwed up. Somebody did that to us. They screwed up our lives and all of this, right? And he's like, I think we should take the house off the market. And Nora tells him, like, listen, you just need to face it, okay? Take the loss, all right? Because what happened to us was just a random act of violence, okay? Just like the train situation, that was a random act of violence, okay? Like, you just have to let this go. So meanwhile, we see that Theodora, she is taking a turn for the worse, guys. The last time we saw her in the previous episode, she was saying, like, when they were talking about how they're going to move on and then, sell the house and stuff, she was saying that she was, I guess, like a candidate for some alternative treatment or something like that. But unfortunately, it didn't work out for her, and she's taking the turn for the worse. So it looks like she's kind of like, in hospice or something, and making I guess they're going to make her have a comfortable transition. I don't recall them saying all these things, but that's just what I'm guessing. Okay. So my baby don't got no gloves on now, honey. But anyway, she says to Dean, can you please be a darling and get me some cigarettes? So he goes and gets her some cigarettes. She ain't supposed to be smoking in no daggone hospital. Okay. But she's like, hey, like, what the heck? So while he goes to get the cigarettes, Nora is telling Theodora that Dean is back at it again. He's losing his mind. Like, he's obsessed with the situation. And she kind of understood, Theodora was like, well, I know that can happen sometimes. Like, if you never didn't solve a case, like, you could really be thinking hard about it too. Like, it's just, it'll haunt you. So, but she's still taking all of this in, like the fact that Dean is, he's obsessing over it, not getting no sleep, stressing, feeling like a failure, blah, blah, blah. So he's thinking about all of that, right? I mean, she's taking that into account. Hey, Jay what? Or Jay Watt. So now, to make matters worse, guys, talk about taking a turn for the worse. Our guy Dean started writing letters, honey. Writing freaking letters. I'm sorry. I honestly didn't think I was going to crack up like this, because I wasn't laughing when I was watching it, but like when I think about it, I'm like, yo, he's really out here losing his mind, guys. So his obsession grows worse, and he starts writing watcher letters to like the old neighbors in Westfield. And Nora was like, you better fix this, okay? Like, apologize to every last person that you wrote a letter to and all of that. He was like, I don't think that can happen. Because she was like, do you hear me? And he said, I don't think I can do that. And she said, I didn't say if you can do it or not. I asked you if you heard me. So she's basically like threatening him. You know what I'm saying? Without threatening him, without actually saying the words, like, I had enough. You don't get them letters together, or them apology letters, or whatever the heck you're going to do. Me and you are done. Like, I'm not going to keep dealing with this. Hey, Art Love. Good morning. So that was that. All right. So now he goes to see Theodora, guys. And what does she do? She tells him that she used to live in the house. She was the previous owner of the house. And she was the one who was writing the letters. And she's the watcher, guys. Okay. I'm going to be honest, guys. I wasn't buying it at all. Like, I didn't need the further explanation or anything like that. I just felt it already. I just knew it already, because of the simple fact that Nora just told her that he was losing his mind. And I was just like, nah, she can't be the watcher. She's doing this for his benefit, so he could, ease up. And the thing about it, what I love about this is that she even figured, look, even though I care about these guys and it's probably going to make them hate me or feel some type of way about me or whatever, at least they won't be feeling, at least they'll have peace. And that was like really a very selfless thing that she did. So, yeah, listen, she had it down though. Every question that he had, she had the story for it. I was like, oh my gosh, Theodora, like, you really went hard for this lie, okay? So anyway, Dean is looking at her like, and of course, he's probably like, what? Because, they have all gotten close and things like that. And even though at one point they did think that she was down with the whole situation after a while, because it was just too many things going on, especially the whole situation about Chamberlain finding out that he wrote one of the letters. And she was like, I didn't tell him. I don't know what happened, how he knew, but I didn't tell him. Okay. So this is what Theodora did. And she thought she was helping to bring peace. So now that he thinks he knows who the watcher was and they want to put everything behind them, Dean goes to, I guess go do his personal apologies. And he's sitting down and he's talking to Mo, and we find out that Mitch died, because I was wondering what the heck happened to Mitch. I'm like, how come we see him coming from the cab, out when they got out of the taxi cab, it was both of them. And then we always just see Mo. And remember, when they were together all the time. You never saw Mo by herself or without Mitch, then all of a sudden Mitch is gone. So we find out that he had like an embolism. So there you go. That's why he was there suddenly and gone. All right. So, or there and suddenly gone. So he says to her, we found out who did this and everything, and it was your old neighbor, Theodora Birch or something like that. And she was like, Theodora Birch, like, who is that? And it was like, oh, beautiful black woman, blah blah blah. And she was like, there was never any colored people that were lived across the street or anything like that. And if they were, I would know, like I know everybody's name and blah 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 blah. So he's like, oh my gosh. So now we back to freaking square one, because come to find out, Theodora was never an owner or of that house or their neighbor. So now they're ready to ask more questions. So Theodora dies, and they see the daughter at the funeral, and they have to ask, and she was like, yeah, that story's not true. A few weeks before my mom died, or I don't know if it was maybe a month or a few weeks, but she said she was writing something. It looks like she was just writing the story or whatever. And she wouldn't let her see it or read it, nothing. And then finally one day she said, okay, I'll tell you what I'm doing. And so she found out that what she was doing was, I am, what did she say? She said, I just want them to have peace. And at the same time, she also wanted to have her own peace. And she kind of felt bad that she couldn't solve the case. And it was her way of kind of making closure. So she kind of just made her own story and wrote herself into the story. So, it's kind of sad. But, like I said, she was trying to do it for them mostly. You know what I mean? Khadijah says, hey, Kay, you remember Dean was Rossetti on Boardwalk Empire? Yes. And guess what? On one of my very first live for this one, for like episode 1, I pulled up a picture because when he was like, I gotta have that house, this and that. I said he reminded me too much of Rossetti on Boardwalk Empire, and so I had to like pull up the picture and everything. So yeah, I'm glad you saw Boardwalk Empire, because I haven't gauged that there was too many people that are subscribed to my channel that have watched that, because that would be a throwback thing that I would actually like to do. Boardwalk Empire was very, very good. All right. So now the Brannocks get an offer on the house. Okay. So I think it's for $2.75, if I'm not mistaken. They're taking a loss, but it's better than, nothing. And plus she said with the furniture and leaving the furniture in there, maybe they could get another $150,000. Now that you could get another $150,000 for the furniture, I would suggest that y'all pay them loan sharks off immediately. Okay, they probably had interest and all that going on too, but pay them off immediately. So anyway, guess who the owner is, guys? Of course, it's Karen. Of course, come on. So Nora goes and she's, she gets into the house and she's like, they're talking and going on about it. And she's like, you were whining about this. And then someone killed your son's ferret or pet raccoon or whatever she called him. She kept, every time she referenced that pet, the ferret, she kept saying the wrong animal. Okay. You were just saying this and that. You were just so whiny about everything. So she was like, there's something that I want to tell you. I've been waiting to tell you this. Get that F out of my house. So I stole your house. I stole your dream home. Whatever the heck she was saying. Like, she was just acting really weird. She's been weird this whole freaking time. Okay. She even went over to, what's the name house? Mo's house, Mitch and Mo's house, and was like trying to get them to sell or do something like that, put their house on the market. Oh, someone from an LLC will buy it and all this stuff. And she's like, Mo was like, well, we're going through a lot, because I think their son committed S. Like, we're going through a lot right now, so we ain't really thinking about all that, okay? And she's like, well, I get what I want. So she didn't even care. Like, she's so selfish. She doesn't care about anything. So, guys, Nora is leaving, and she said, it's okay, because I don't think things are going to quite work out for you. Okay. So good luck with that, honey. So then we have the committee. Like, I don't know who these chicks are as far as their little group that they have. I don't know. All right. With these houses, the house stalkers. So they come over with their pies and cookies and all that. And whatchamacallit got a dog in her hand. Like, you know, she has her dog. It's just her and her dog living in that whole big old house. And she's like, well, I'm doing keto right now, so why don't you guys enjoy that? And closes the door on them, okay? First of all, when Pearl saw that she had a dog, she's like, oh, a dog. Like this chick is so control. I hate her. She's so controlling. This has nothing to do with your life. Nothing at all. This lady can't have a tiny dog or even a few huge dogs in that big old house. I don't care if the house was a corner. If she wants a dog, it's her house. My gosh, I hate Pearl. And if this was a fictional thing, like, I mean, it's based on a true story, why couldn't we get something to happen to Pearl? Like, I can't stand her. I hated Pearl. She's probably the one that I hated most out of everyone. Like, remember that time when she kind of like threw a tantrum, like, how dare you? How dare you? Like screaming out the window to Dean. Like, she was just doing too much. I just want to take her by her her freaking pigtails and just go like this back and forth. Like, pull it this way, pull it that way. Okay. Anyway, I'm done. So she closes the door on them, right? And long story short, guys, it starts immediately for this chick. Like the haunting, it starts immediately. Like there was water overflowing in the tub, and she puts her hand down there to try to like get the drain out. I mean, to unplug the drain, burns her hand, like, child. So she tries to call her boy toy, Mr. Chamberlain, Detective Chamberlain. And he's like, oh, don't you call me. We're not friends and all that. Because I guess they must have broke up and everything. And because she's like, I think it's Nora. Someone's in the house. I think it's Nora. Can you come and do like a scan or something like that? And he was like, girl, like, we are not friends anymore. I don't appreciate you making fun of my ED. So clearly they don't go together no more because he cannot get it up for your girl. Okay? He can't get it up for Karen. So she said, bye-bye. Karen needs what she needs. She said she get what she want. And he cannot give that to her. So bye. But now she gonna call him when she needs help. Have somebody come out and see what's going on in this house. And he said, no. And you go ahead and try to call 911. You can call 911. Don't even bother. Nobody's coming. So he done got her blacklisted and everything. Like, I mean, come on, that's ridiculous. First of all, someone like him, even though I don't like Karen, someone like him who, as soon as somebody makes him mad, he doesn't want to do his job. You never wanted to do your job in the first place. So now you just want to use that as an excuse to really not do your job. And somebody needs to be doing some quality control or quality assurance or something on this man, because why is he the only one? And why isn't there someone that is making sure this guy is on his job? Because why? Maybe it's going under the radar because this is the most safe town or one of the safest cities or whatever, something like that. But these are the ones that you need to still watch for. Okay. So anyway, he don't want to help this lady out because he got a personal vendetta going on now, man. Anyway. So guys, they done ran her out. They ran her out of that house. Somebody got in her house. Of course, that's not hard. All right. Got into her house and she ran out the front door. I thought she was probably going to get killed or something like that. Ran out the front door, ran down the street with her dog and everything. I think she had her dog, and was just screaming all the way down the street. I don't understand. And I don't know if I said this already, guys. But before I get out of here, I just got to say, I don't understand why Karen wanted to live in that big old house by herself anyway. Like, what is wrong with just a condo, boo? Like, you're not going to have any kids. She clearly is not that type of person. What do you need this big old house for? That's the thing I didn't understand. Okay. So let's move on. So we see towards the end of the episode, we see that Dean is getting therapy. And look who the heck is his therapist, guys. It's freaking Whiteley from American Horror Story series. What was that? Season 11 or something like that? NYC? Oh my gosh. Whiteley is the daggone therapist. All right. But we see that Dean keeps on bringing up the house. And he's like, you keep bringing up the house, and he thought that, and Dean was like, well, I thought you asked. He's like, I didn't say anything about the house. So the house is still bothering Dean, like the fact that he failed at it. It's hard. I feel bad for Dean, I really do, because we saw the whole reason why he wanted that house in the first place, guys, and it just didn't work out for him. So it's just terrible. So now we also see that the new family that's in is an interracial family. So a black lady and a white man, their children. And everybody's looking and watching, okay? Like, we got everybody watching. Of course, we got Maureen watching. But look who else was watching, guys. I don't got the picture, sorry. Andrew was watching, but he was crying while he was watching. I'm like, Andrew, what is going on? Who else was watching? Of course, Pearl. And you had John Graff in the window watching, just standing there looking. I'm like, y'all need to get you some lives for real. Y'all have to get a life. This is all you're doing? Oh my gosh. So Pretty Girl says, is that the bend and snap lady from Legally Blonde? It probably is, but I know for sure she's Stifler's mom, the MILF. She's the infamous MILF mom, honey. Stifler's mom, yeah, really annoyed me. She did, the infamous Stifler's mom. So anyway, yeah, everybody's watching, guys. And now we have a new watcher, and that is Dean. Dean that made his way out there when his wife is thinking that he went to work or on some job interview or something like that. He is out here watching the house, and he meets the guy. I think he said his name was Stu. I might be wrong, and I don't really care. I think he said Stu, but he went for a run, and he sees this man just watching his daggone house. And he tells the man that his name is John. So anyway, and he still tells him that he lives in the neighborhood. So when Dean gets in the car, Nora calls him, and she's like, hey, babe, where are you? Whatever. He said, oh, I'm on I think he said he was on the Holland Tunnel or something like that, and that it's backed up and blah, 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 whatever. So lying, right? As usual, Dean. So she's like, okay. And then she tells him, I just really want to tell you that I'm proud of you. You're doing therapy, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And I don't tell you enough, and I appreciate you and all this stuff. So that's very nice to hear. Then he drives off. And look who the heck is behind him, Nora. So I don't know what the heck this is all about. I don't know if this meant that she was following him around or if she has some little obsession going on as well. And she just don't want to tell him. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, what the heck is that all about? You're showing up too, Nora? What? So, guys, that is how the series ended of The Watcher. We are done with it. Do you guys like my pajamas? We're done with it. And yeah, I was not excited because across the screen it says that the person, whoever the Watcher was never found. The mystery was never solved or anything. So that sucks. And you know what? That makes me feel like, why did y'all feel the need to make a TV show about that? A limited series. Why did y'all feel the need that we needed to see anything like that? And with all the liberties that they took, like they took so many creative liberties that they could have made it way more spunkier if that was the case. Like they could have killed some folks and all of that. I mean, the only thing that they did was the murders in the house and all of that other kind of stuff. They could have juiced it up. They could have juiced it up way more, because they really honestly did not come close to the stuff as far as like some of the things that I listened to. I didn't read nothing because I was going to read some today, but I was like, I'm not going to read. So I watched this little video where they did like a comparison between the real and the fake. So in the real, they did receive a letter, but they received the letter before they moved into the house. They closed on the house and they received a letter. The letter was very threatening, especially towards their children. So the family was like, oh, no, we're definitely not even going to take the chance, and we're not moving in. So the family actually never moved into that house. So everything that we saw didn't even happen. So when I tell you that if they were going to take some liberties, they should have done a lot more, because now I feel robbed. Like, I'm over here watching this thing to see what the heck happens, and you done made me the watcher. I didn't sign up to be the watcher of this house. We're supposed to be watching something to see who the watcher is of all these letters. And now you done turned me and y'all, every person that was watching the watcher, we done became the daggone watchers. Child, I'm through. I'm pissed. I'm annoyed. And I can't get my time back, okay? But I'm happy that I came on here and I'm able to come on here and tell y'all how I feel about it. You know what I'm saying? Listen, it's like we on life, and we, I was like, I be that baby's daddy. I'm the pappy. Everybody up in this chat right now could be like, I'm the watcher. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the heck? So the only thing that they had is that the letters were real. And that first letter that we heard where they was like, oh, I need to know their names so I can call to them, all that was real, right? But the family never moved in. And then the next thing that was accurate was that the person who ever sent those letters was never found out. Those are only two accuracies, or maybe three. The names were not used. These Dean and Nora, the names are they asked to I know. The names, they asked for their names to be changed. They didn't want to be the owners of the home that the story is based on. They didn't want nobody knowing or anything like that. But I'm like, how did this even become known? It's not interesting enough. It's just not. Like, without all of that, like, take out everything that we just, like, that we saw with Pearl and the committee and all this blah 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 blah, right? Like, that whole cult thing next door, because episode 2 I didn't cover. I still have to. I'm gonna do like a different thing with that. I'm not gonna go live. It's just that I owe episode 2 to fill in because I didn't do it yet. So that's to help my the playlist, right? So I done lost my daggone thoughts, guys. Thank you, pretty girl. It had me going, and because of what happened, boo, I would not recommend you watch it. It's a waste. So now that I said that, I remember now, right? So what was interesting? Who the heck got a hold of this story? How did you hear about this story? It's not interesting enough for somebody to find out about it, or for it to make the news or anything, an article. I mean, it sounds like a type of story, right? It's so uninteresting. I'm not going to say that, because if in real life somebody said to me that they got a letter like that, that would be some scary crap. Okay. But I'm just saying, like, not enough to make the news, right? Like, it wasn't. And here's another thing, because I was going to say, was it a small town? But here's the thing. It wasn't in Jersey. The real life people were in New York. So maybe they were in a small town in New York, like something like that. So sometimes when things are in a smaller town, like, everything makes the news, everything makes articles and all of that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, child. It was just, I just can't understand why they did that. They duped us, guys. They made us the watchers. And that's how I'm going to end this video now. Thank you guys so much for being here with me. I love you all. It's 1:46 in the morning, honey. Okay. And that's just that. I'm supposed to be going live on Sundays, guys, but honestly, I don't know what to talk about right now. So my Sunday lives are kind of like hanging in limbo until I figure out what the heck we gonna talk about, because I don't know right now. You know what I'm saying? But I've been watching Coven again, so come back Thursday for my Coven recaps. That's American Horror Story, guys, if you haven't. And also The Wire for Tuesday. So I know I'm gonna be back for those days, God willing, right? And that's that. So as far as Sunday goes, I don't know. I can't make no promises. It's probably not going to happen. So Art Love says Riches is on Prime. Okay, you want me to check out Riches? I shall see. How about Call Me Now? Did y'all see that on HBO Max? I was thinking of maybe watching that and talking about it. I don't know. Y'all interested in the Miss Cleo documentary or the one with what's his name? What's the people, the royal folks, Megan and whatever her husband name is. I don't remember. So anyway, the lady Princess Diana's son, and because I really don't know their names. Prince Harry? I don't know. I don't care, guys. Anyway, I love you guys. I will talk to you later. Art Love, thank you for coming. Jay What says Hush, Reasonable Doubt. I'll check out Hush. I'm not for some reason I'm not like gravitating towards a Reasonable Doubt. It looks good, but I don't know, I just can't. Art Love, thank you. Samara, thank you. Jay What, thank you. Pretty Girl, love you. Thank you, Boo. And Khadijah Hall, thank you for coming through. I think, yes, I said Samara. And whoever else, Tina, and anybody else in here that I did not catch, I apologize. You know, you mean a lot to me, okay? One more. It's about a ship called the Prometheus, and 1,400 people mysteriously disappears on it. What's that one? Is that 1889 or is it Hush? Which one is that? Because that sounds really good. Okay. Anyway, guys, thank you, Samara. Because I've been on listen, I've been watching stuff on Netflix, guys. So I feel like I'm about to just be on some Netflix recap stuff. That's what I'm gonna do on Fridays for right now until we start picking things up. Okay. You guys have a safe and blessed night. Safe Saturday. And I will see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.